This review is for a mature rated game. Viewer discretion is advised. A few months after the successful release of the 2010 game Limbo, the company Playdead went on to develop the next game, a spiritual successor titled Inside, also directed by Arne Jensen. While it was developed on the Unity engine to cut down the workload as well as use more colour and be able to port it to other systems, the game can mostly be called Limbo 2.0? But is that really a bad thing? What interesting differences made Inside stand out? Did the developers really get it right with a long 6-year development cycle? Well, these aren't the only questions you will be asking when you complete this game. The premise of Inside is not necessarily clear, possibly deliberately so. At first, you see the playable protagonist, a young boy, fall smoothly down a rock face into the middle of a forest. Sounds like Limbo, right? Then you eventually see trucks and people dressed in black not hesitating to catch you if they see you. Then guard dogs, a farm, and a factory featuring mind control and other terrors almost too horrible to speak about. In fact, that's essentially how one should really approach their first time playing Inside, with no spoilers. There are many surprising and even creepy or scary moments. Plus, the final moments, partially inspired by Princess Mononoke, are some of the most mind-bending and twisting moments ever seen in a video game, bringing about a surprisingly surreal catharsis. Much like the game's predecessor Limbo, much of what happens is left up to interpretation, with some slight similarities to the previous game that can be hard to spot. But it's easy to spot other similarities, such as the creepy atmosphere. The art style is simplistic, yet extremely effective. The colours are mostly monochromatic, the lighting is suitably creepy, and the animation is as good and unique as can be expected from Playdead. It can be too hard to see sometimes, which feels like a downgrade from the stark black and white contrast in Limbo, but the aforementioned production values, complete with a sense of space and tangible setting and world building that makes the side-scroller puzzle platformer almost 2.5D instead of 2D, are excellent. The sound and music are also similar to before in being instrumental to the creepy atmosphere. The music is minimal with synthesizers and, surprisingly, soundscapes created by recording the sounds that were routed through a human skull. Sound effects such as the boys breathing, the guard dogs, and of course other sounds that are not easily categorized, again at the ending, are also more than complimentary. In fact, the sounds amongst all the other production values are actually important to the gameplay. There is atmospheric tension, structure and pacing, and the use of visual and audio cues that set up the puzzles and solutions. It all seems fairly seamless, with little to no technical performance issues if at all. The gameplay is similar to Limbo. The controls are simple and are not shown on screen to the player outside of the options screen. All the boy does is run left and right, jump, climb, grab objects and even swim. With this limited moveset, the boy can solve a surprising variety of puzzles with some subtle variations throughout the game. The jumping seems to rely on less pixel-perfect timing. Some of the puzzles are really interesting, including those involving farm pigs and mind control of unfortunate humans who appear to be experimented on, only to help you with boxes and heavy switches. The puzzle solutions may not be obvious at first, owing to the trial and death approach. This boy can die in ways that almost makes Limbo look like a tame kids show. Gruesome. It has to be noted, though, that the puzzle design is not close to near flawless. A few of the puzzles are too inscrutable again. A few of them require some odd timing and repetition, which can lead to tedium, namely the ones where you have to move back and forth to distract guard dogs and horrifying mermaids in the water. The water sections, while mostly better than the frustrating ones in many other games, can slow the game down quite a bit. And while it is nice to opt for cinematic storytelling, the lack of on-screen controls does make it occasionally hard to figure out a few things. One other nitpick is that when you die, the game takes a bit longer to load than Limbo does, which, if anything, makes you want to be careful in surviving and learning how to adapt in what is generally good game design. A few problems with the game that are subjective are the interpretations of the story and the length of the game in regards to pricing. Some may wish the story to be more understandable, even if the ending is less abrupt than it is in Limbo. Some may think that the story lacks a coherent focus, with a variety of obstacles and settings that could potentially be lacking in any connection, such as the mind control being just one concept out of several. And the game is also a short one yet again, averaging to 4 or 5 hours on your first playthrough. There is some nice replay value where you can find 13 orbs and return to an earlier locale to unlock the game's secret ending. You can use the low points to your advantage to find the orbs as well as go to where the secret ending is located. Even so, the price could be considered too steep for such a short game. The value is somewhat determined by the aforementioned replay value, or you just simply wanting to play it again. But Inside is overall a compelling experience from start to finish. It is an exceptional and artistic piece of cinematic storytelling in video games, where the pacing, tension, and transitions from one puzzle or story point to another is seamless. The production values are excellent and all the puzzles are well designed. Well, except for some of them. Is it possible that Inside is better than Limbo? Possibly. Just as well, it is a great game that is worth experiencing any way you can. Join me next time as... Wait, when is Playdead's next game coming out? Hopefully in less than 6 years' time.